Grand Canyon Whitewater people know this canyon so much better than I do. I rafted down the canyon. This is my 7th time, so a lot of what I know about the canyon I learned from people like him. But I just want to say that this is a very unique geological occurrence where we have this really thick sequence of rocks which is cut by a river. And how does this river flow through this plateau? I mean, you see this narrow canyon and the river's flowing through the mountains. So you need very special circumstances to be able to do that. And when we look at a map of the river, we see that the pattern of the river is meandering in big loops, like on that. If you could just back that up to me. Here's a publication I've ever read. I should have read before I started talking. It's called the Grand Canyon Geological River Guide. I've never seen it before, but you do see these big bends, and that kind of situation happens in environments very different to where we are. It happens, for example, on tributaries to the Mississippi, where you have all these meanders because you get a lot levees forming on that environment, and then you get floods, and the levees are topped over, and channels that have a steeper gradient capture the drainage, and so the pattern of the river is changing all the time. Well, in the past, we obviously had a meandering river flowing over a plain like a prairie with very little topography. Then, acting on the ideas of plate tectonics, you know, these surface plates are drifting around, and this plate on which this meandering river was occupied got to a place where there was higher heat flow and more heat coming from the interior, from the Earth's mantle, so the crust expanded and elevated, and the rate of uplift was very fast. I mean, it was like, you know, one estimate is like 0.6 of an inch a year, or the height of a person in 10,000 years, 6 feet in 10,000 years. So that was a very rapid uplift. And the river kept pace because the base for that river is sea level. And so as the plateau went up, the river cut down in this dramatic way, revealing this amazing canyon, where we have the joy of riding the rapids through the mountains. So that's basically the idea behind, and of course there are lots of details that we could go into, and this publication, you know, is one I could learn a lot from. But I just wanted you to think about the fact that you've been in a place where this river flowed through a mountain. How did that come about? And so it gets you thinking about what I call deep time. You know, the idea that time is an important component to what we see in landscape. How long have things been going on? And to that end, the only reason I volunteered to talk was that I wrote a poem about it. So I have brought this poem. And the poem is called Speak to Me, River. Speak to me, river, your river running free. Explain to me now your puzzling mystery. How did you carve a canyon through a plateau 1 mile high, revealing deep earth history to air and open sky? The plateau's elevation began far too long ago, uplifted by the Laramide orogeny, a process very slow. El Rio Colorado Delta saw only 6 million floods in spring. Yet 70 million years ago, the Laramide uplift took wing. Speak to me, river, your history to me relate. Did meandering rivers drain both east and west of late? Did incision and down cutting these river systems merge? Did repeated river capture make a continuous channel surge? Speak to me, river, your river running free. Reveal to me your, at last, your awesome history. 18 yards or 18 feet. And so each foot being, a billion years. And so then you can line up and the guys can tell each person what was happening at the time that they were representing in the line. You want to try that idea?
Yeah, Rachel actually has a rope with her.
Oh, she had the rope.
Yeah.
Oh, she came prepared.
Came prepared.
That's awesome.
I didn't know that, Rachel.
What a wonderful segue. Billion years old. So every foot is 100 million years. And this is more just the history of the Earth for a little perspective, not specific to Grand Canyon, but 46 feet. So 4.6 billion years ago, we got nothing going on. We got our oldest rocks that are around 4 billion years old, excuse me, and we get to
Why don't you get one person to take the end of the rope and walk away as you letting the time go by.
Okay, well, we get to here in 3.6 billion years old, and that is the oldest sign of life that we have. Life being slime, algae, and bacteria. So from 3.6, we got slime, algae, bacteria, slime, algae, bacteria, slime, algae, bacteria, slime, algae, bacteria, slime, algae, bacteria. We're starting to get some oxygen in the atmosphere now. Slime, algae, bacteria, slime, algae, bacteria.
Wow.
Bye, Coleman. Slime, algae, bacteria. Slime, algae, bacteria. We get back to about 540 million years ago. This is called the explosion of life. Now, geologically speaking, an explosion is not what we think about. It could be a few thousand million years, not instantaneous. But this is where we start seeing more life that has crunchy bits, things that fossilize, shells, eye sockets, teeth. So explosion of life, we start to see more than slime, algae, bacteria. This is all Precambrian. Now we get into our next group here, was Paleozoic, and we get back to 400 million years ago, and that's where life makes its way out of the sea. So now we finally have things crawling or walking around the Earth's surface, 400 million.
Well, the first things were plants rather than things crawling.
Okay, plants, excuse me, plants. Thank
The
you.
Devonian explosion was really an efflorescence of all kinds of plants. And then there were animals that exploited that environment.
Okay. We get back to 252 million years old, and that is the Great Dying. That's where 90% of Earth's life, which was not the dinosaurs yet, went extinct, the Great Dying. We get into our Mesozoic, or our middle life. This is the age of the dinosaurs. We get back to 65 million years ago with the next mass extinction, which is what also took out the dinosaurs, about 70%, which, again, let me know if this is correct, but that was an asteroid that hit off the Yucatan Peninsula, about 6 miles wide, traveling about 15 miles per hour. So you'd think the sea levels are changing, the atmosphere is changing, and it took out the dinosaurs. Then we get to this cute little,
Did you mean 15 miles an hour?
yes,
Second.
50 miles a second. 50 miles a second. What did I say? An hour. Second. Okay, second. Okay. Cenozoic. We get back here 65 million years ago, and then we get this little black tape. This 3/4 of an inch is our 6 million years. So this is when Grand Canyon is carved. So the rock layers were a little beforehand, but this is Grand Canyon being carved. And then we've got humans, which is about a fraction of a human hair on this rope. The age of humans compared to the age of the Earth.